Hi folks, welcome to Curatorial Knits, a knitting podcast where I talk about what I am making, sometimes designing, and the choices that I make with my knitting based on my experience as an art curator. I am really excited to be here, to be back speaking with you, but also to be back in California, Northern California, where I'm based. I was traveling for a couple weeks and I've been a lot of places. So I have lots of updates today. We have giveaway winners from our last episode. I have finished projects, almost finished projects, and a couple new things on the needles. So I'm just delighted to be here and we can start off and jump in together right now. The first thing I want to mention are the winners. I did a big yarn cabinet clear out, and some people last time asked for some photos. So I do have the receipts. I do have evidence that my yarn cabinet is organized, and it has stayed organized since my last episode, which I know was a while ago, but I'll get into the reasons why maybe later or at the end, because I've had a lot of really fun and exciting life updates as well. But I do have these amazing skeins of yarn, so I want to let the people know who is going home with them. So again, I will only let people know here on the podcast with my words, and please do send an email to the contact me email address, and I will also try to find you guys on Instagram and DM you there if I can. If I can't find you on Instagram, please DM me on Instagram, or again, send an email to the email address, which is listed in the About Me section here on YouTube. So first off, we have the wonderful Explorer Knits and Fibers sock yarn. This is Fire, and this is going to Cabana Girl. Had a great comment and said that she thought that the fire was fire, and I am so delighted that her comment is the one that popped up. And yeah, I just do a random picker thing. So I'm delighted to send this home to Cabana Girl. And again, I will try to find you. And if you can DM me on Instagram or at the email, then that'll make that even faster. So I hope you see this. And if not, I will be stalking you. Cabana Girl with your Fire Denali sock from Explorer Knits and Fibers. Beautiful sock yarn. I'm glad we'll be going to someone who actually achieves their sock making goals, unlike yours truly. Next up, we have the other sock yarn, which is You Do Not Yield. Again, also the Denali sock base. This is the 80% superwash, 20% nylon, 400 yards for 100 grams. And Do Not Yield is going to Brenda Beckett. Brenda, this is for you. I am so glad that it is going to, again, a person who will actually make beautiful socks with this. So I hope you enjoy it. This is definitely one of my favorite colorways, and I really hope I can get my hands on more of this signature color from Allie of Explorer Knits and Fibers for another project perhaps, but just not socks. And finally, we have the Jacaranda floating yarn. I know this was something that everybody was very excited about. It truly feels amazing, and I'm so excited for whatever projects folks make with this. A lot of people said they were going to do a Curator sweater t-shirt, which I highly recommend. I've worn mine so much this summer already. I have 3 of them, so it's easy for me to do, but I've really been loving it and wearing them all the time. This is, again, the Jacaranda colorway, which is speckled, very pale, and I would say like a very sophisticated purple. It's from A Verb for Keeping Warm, which is very lucky for me, my local yarn store. And it's 70% alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. Yes, it really is that amazing and smushy. And this floating is going to Donna Be Good. And bee is spelled like the thing that buzzes, which I found so delightful. So Donna B, these are for you, my dear, and I cannot wait to see what you make with it. Please, please, please tag me or send me a quick email update with what you make. And thank you everybody who entered and gave me such a warm welcome back to the knitting podcasting universe. I'm so delighted to be here. I'll talk about what I'm wearing next. This is my self-drafted raglan, and I love it. It's kind of the basis for my beginner's welcome sweater. So I'll publish a light version at some point too. So this is a great raglan with a very easy fingering plus mohair gauge. And what I love about the way that the raglan construction kind of math has worked out on this is that you get this really easy kind of squared off line, which means that the raglan itself doesn't have to be crazy deep to still get the width for the bust and the shoulders. So I love it, love it, love it. I've been wearing this almost every morning to walk the dog, so it's not in like the best of shape, to be honest. I should probably reblock it. But yeah, I love this sweater. It is almost like a second skin now, so I know that I will be making more of them. And what I'm really excited about, is the Beginner's Welcome main event version. So this is at a chonky gauge. And this is my sweater pattern that I am making for first time sweater knitters. It is based on my kind of idea for the Beginner's Welcome hat, which is what I use to teach some of my dear girlfriends how to knit, 12 of them actually. And then a couple of them have been wanting to make a sweater, and I wanted something that I could add my own kind of stylistic vibes to a simple raglan, but also keep it really, really user-friendly and beginner-friendly in the way that the pattern is written. There's going to be tutorials on how to actually read the pattern and how to move through it, as well as tutorials about all the techniques as well. So this is it. So I still have to put sleeves on it. But I'm really, really happy with the construction. So this is unblocked. It's gonna look a little bit kooky and messy, but oh my gosh, it is fitting beautifully. This is again like very, very, very simple. Cast on your collar. It has a very similar collar lay to this, so it looks a little bit almost like a trapezoid, where the raglan comes out really sharply there. But what it means is you get that instant kind of perfect shoulder lay. Because again, I'm kind of obsessed with shoulder fit, which you know if you've made the Curator sweater, or even my Color Compass, which is my colorwork sweater pattern, which also really started with me needing to understand shoulder fit and how that works with circular yokes. So lots to explore there. But yes, I love this. I think it's going to be so much fun. I'm already writing up the pattern, and yeah, this is the yarn I'm using for this. I kind of happened upon in my stash. It is Jill Draper. What is the name of this? Sorry, just a sec. I forget which blend this is. Oh, if I didn't say, this is Jill Draper as well. This is the Jill Draper fingering, which I forget the name of, but all of the details for the yarns and the patterns will be in the description box below. And I loved working with this yarn. First of all, the color is just so beautiful. I paired it with the Sonder yarn mohair, and yeah, it worked out beautifully. And then the Chonka Chonk version is the Jill Draper Mohonk, which is the 100% lamb's wool. And I used this great kind of icy blue color, and I paired it with long like I got this yarn when I first started knitting. It's called Whale, and I've tried to put it in a couple different patterns, both of which I ended up sprogging. And it's from Qing Fibers, and it is so cool. It has a really beautiful wash to it of that real subtle blue and green. And the turquoise really pairs perfectly with this icy blue turquoise from Jill Draper. And then when you put them together, oh my gosh, the marl is really fun. I just am obsessed. So I'm really excited about this. All kind of final gauge and final pattern details coming very soon. I really can't wait to get this out into the world. It'll probably come out in like January though. I'm still planning a really long test. I'm going to be announcing that probably on my next podcast. So yeah, that'll be really fun. And I'm super excited about this. Yes, so beginner's welcome. Here you are. This is kind of the initial construction and math draft that may become a pattern at some point. And my next plan is to make, because I want the pattern to have both children's all the way through adult sizes. And I'm going to be making a small one for my niece, and she asked for purple and pink yarn, and I think that Wandering Flock really nailed it. So I'm really excited to cast this on for my wonderful niece for her birthday. So that'll be my next beginner's welcome version. I love being able to make lots of different sizes and have that available in the pattern. I think that would be really a fun way to do it too. What should I talk about next? I think maybe I should talk a little bit about life before I talk about my next project. So I've been through a lot of transitions this year. It has been very crazy in terms of my other life, my professional life that's not about knitting. And so in the last 12 months, I have been in 3 different roles. And it was the end of one role. I started another position. It was a very bad fit. I left that position, and it was really hard to think about what I was going to do next, and I was really unsure. And luckily, I had lots of conversations with lots of people, and I have ended up working in a way that I've never worked before, in an industry that I've never worked before, and it's been really amazing. So this podcast is called Curatorial Knits because I've worked in the art world as a curator, as a writer, as a publicist, as a client services specialist, as a art gallery museum relations director, and in lots of other roles advising private collectors, advising artists. And that's really been my industry for the last 20 plus years. And I have loved it, and I have absolutely learned so much, and also feel like I've been able to contribute so much to that world and to that industry. And this new experience that I'm having is going to sound like a really big departure. But I think there's a lot of connected threads, frankly. Not to you know, excuse the puns and everything that comes with the idea of threads and knitting and bringing things together. It's hard not to have those references. But so what am I doing? I was talking to a friend around Christmas. We ran into each other at a line to go see Santa with our children, and she told me that she was going to start a company. And the goal of the company is to create end-of-life and estate plans for folks with young kids and for older folks with adult children. And this kind of sandwich generation that I'm in, with having young children and also thinking about the generation ahead of me, my parents, my aunts and uncles and everyone like that. And this is really personal for me because right before I actually started this podcast in 2021, I lost two very dear friends in very separate incidents who left young families. And I really saw what those families had to grapple with and go through, not just on the grieving side of things, but also just the logistics and paperwork and everything that went into that. So it really changed how I think of that space, and it's something that's really present for me. And my friend and now co-founder, Amanda, was telling me her own story about what led her to know that there's a really big need here. And I said, well, that sounds really fascinating. I was in no way, shape, or form thinking that this would be something that I would contribute to in any way. And she said, well, let's keep talking because I want to hire smart people who want to do something really great. And I said, well, that's good for you. You know, I was, again, like really not thinking about it. And then we ended up having coffee. She gave me some updates about where the product was and what their launch time was and what they were thinking about. And I just started kind of riffing and thinking of different angles or different perspectives. And she asked me at the end of the conversation, she said, this has been really productive. Would you like to work with us? And I honestly, at that point, I had I was excited about the opportunity, but I also didn't know what my role would actually be. And so we spent the next couple of weeks kind of putting something together. It's an incredible team that comes from like some of the biggest and kind of most, I will say, companies with tech companies with a huge amount of integrity and history, as well as just like incredible technology chops. Our CTO is unreal. Our growth chair is fantastic. They all come from kind of financial tech backgrounds. Amanda, the CEO, just is super visionary. She was chief of staff for some really large and important and exciting companies as well. And so the first few weeks I was definitely like fish out of water, like what am I doing? But I'm leading our partnership programs, and I am also working on communications. So my official title is actually head of communications. The company is called Dandelion, and I am really excited about it. It is very interesting. It's a very different cadence of work. Everyone moves really, really fast. Everyone is really, really enthusiastic and positive. And the way that people approach things has been just kind of a revelation to me and opened my eyes to some kind of things that I thought were normal coming from my industry, that has been a really, really refreshing kind of change. I will just put this on briefly, but we have great hats. So this is Dandelion, our cool little hat. And yes, I do love merch. And yes, we are going to make t-shirts too. And I started this role, and it's been kind of all encompassing. You know, startup culture is real, and there's a real sense of urgency about the work. There's also just a huge need. We have a giant wait list. It's kind of crazy. There's so many people who want to be using this. We have a select group of people in our beta test group, and those folks are actively giving feedback. I might cut a bunch of this. I realize I'm talking way too much about my other stuff, but I promise you there's a reason. And the reason is, like, I also had this big trip booked. So some of you guys will know that I, 2 years ago, went to southern France and to Venice for art world stuff and a visit with my girlfriends 2 years ago in late June, early July. It was a fantastic experience, and I really thought it was kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. But while I was at the job that was such a bummer, I said no. My other two friends and I decided to go again, and so we booked it. And so I just came back really from this really big trip with these incredible women, and alone, solo. I went to Venice by myself again. And so I really haven't had the kind of headspace for a lot of knitting in some ways. And so I knew I was going to be on a plane for, honestly, like at least 2.5 days when you put all the travel time together. And so I wanted a project that I could pick up and put down that wasn't a designed by me project. And all of my other work was all designed by me, and I just didn't want to have to like take notes on the airplane. And so I was going through my like cast on projects, and I had an old satellite shawl in Sonder yarn, Grace and mohair, and it was in the point where I was having to do the bobbles, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna want to do bobbles on an airplane. And so I frogged it, and and I started, believe it or not, a Sophie shawl. So yes, I have joined the Sophie cult, and I'm okay with that. Oh no, shoot. I've lost some stitches. Bear with me one moment while I get this back on the needles. So speaking of tries, this is my Sophie shawl. This is not the scarf. I had way too much yarn and way too much plain time for that. So it's not the little one, it's the big one. And it's funny because it is exactly the same as some, self-drafted triangle shawls that I've made. Though I do really like the cadence, the increased cadence has been really fun. And this is like really cute little. And here, I think I am gonna make bobbles or maybe fringe at the little end point. So I hit the middle, where's my middle? Right here. And now I'm gonna go back again. So it is more like a scarf shape. I mean, it's not technically a shawl. I think I would have to have probably another skein of yarn to really get that width, but I think it's gonna block out to be pretty wide, maybe 2 feet. Yeah, anyway, it's like my kind of signature tealy color that I love so much, and it feels like an absolute dream. I love it. And it was so great just to kind of take the pressure off and have just knit, slip some stitches, knit, slip some stitches, and just going back and forth was really relaxing and fun, and I'm glad that I threw it on the needles. The other thing that doing this new job has really helped me with is just feeling like I can take a little bit of pressure off. The last time, for example, I mean, definitely with the art stuff and also with my knitting, like the last time I was in Venice, I felt like I had to go see, so the Venice Biennale is on right now, which is, it's every 2 years. It's a kind of a festival, but really it's an exhibition of art from all over the world, and countries have pavilions or dedicated spaces throughout the city of Venice, in which they present their own exhibition, and then there's a single kind of curator or group of curators who put together a kind of grander exhibition with art from all over the world. It's really about a statement of what art is this year today. So it's almost exclusively contemporary art in these scenarios. And the last time I went in 2024, I was just convinced I was gonna miss something, or that someone was gonna see something and I hadn't seen it, and I was gonna feel embarrassed, or I had a different opinion about things, so I had to see things multiple times. And I just was absolutely obsessed with this kind of FOMO anxiety. Even though I was there and I was experiencing this incredible art, it came with this sense of pressure. I wanted to post about it on social media. I wanted to make sure people knew I was there. It was just it was not the right spirit for me, looking back, to really be in those spaces. And this year was just completely different. I mean, I had a wonderful experience. I had a really deep sense of connection with so many of the exhibitions, particularly the Ukrainian pavilion, which was all about joy, was truly phenomenal. I'm gonna cry. That not just in terms of the sentiment behind the art making, but the art itself was in dialogue with this really, really old palazzo right on the Grand Canal, and it did such a good job of kind of embracing this architecture and also at the same time expressing all of these different artists' vision of joy amidst war and amidst conflict, and it was just beautiful. And there were so many experiences that I had like that. I thought the main Arsenale Pavilion presentation was absolutely beautiful. It's entitled Across Worlds. It was really well done. I just had a very different experience because I didn't have that sense of pressure about it. And so I was really just able to feel it more and to be more present and to actually have the types of aesthetic experiences that I value so much, and frankly that will help me communicate better in all the different parts of my life. And that's what I love about art, is that it gives, and aesthetics and knitting and all of this, it gives us these opportunities to connect with each other around what we're seeing and what we're feeling. And I just felt like I was able to do that in such a different way, and it was really, really helpful for me. So in any case, that's a big amount of words to talk about a very simple project and life update situation. Also on the needles, and actually with quite a bit of progress, if I do say so myself, I've gotten the math straight. It did take quite a bit of pulling out, and this is why I was nearly about to bring this project with me on my trip to Europe, but I truly just didn't want to have to feel like I could get something really wrong and then have to pull it out again. So this is the Curator Cardigan, and I love the hang of it. Obviously it's on needles now, but I'm sorry, but Jenny Kane, eat your heart out. It is absolutely just perfect shoulder capped. I'm really liking the cadence or the distribution. I don't know what it's called. The way the V-neck is coming down, I'm really excited about. It's gonna stay pretty low here and then just keep going straight. I love it. I'm gonna split for sleeves and probably, I don't know, between probably a dozen rows, between 10 and 12 rows probably. And then once I do, I'm really off to the races. So it has an integrated button band of twisted rib. Again, I will not be making samples in navy ever again because it's so hard to see. So that's the line here of the button band. Here you can see I've added in the pearl bump row here to give you that real sense of structure on the shoulder where the pickup is. And then our quick little decrease here. So this needs to be sewn on, but it'll join really nicely like that. And this is my provisional cast on, which is not fabulous, but looks okay there. So you go in both directions on that. Anyway, this pattern, I have no idea. I'm writing it as I go. I'm very happy, like I said, with the current math and the way it's mathing. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get someone to help me grade it, just because I really don't want to get it wrong. And there's a lot of things that make this different than the Curator sweater. First of all, the gauge is different. This is Sonder Yarn's DK, Sunday Morning DK, held with Haze, which is the alpaca silk. So it's a little bit chunkier, definitely a larger gauge than the Curator sweater. And because the construction really is so different once you add that button band and the way that the collar kind of turns into it. I know the math is right for my sample size and my spreadsheet feels right, but I really want someone to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Yeah, so that'll be something for, again, next year probably. But I really hope I'm done by this fall because I really want to wear it with like my pleated navy skirt and just maybe like a little silk tank underneath. I think that would be really pretty. In terms of other whips, this has not moved forward. My Rosie sweater looks so great. I actually tried it on just now before I sat down to film because I was like, oh, I need to give myself motivation to finish these sleeves. And it feels so good. This is the Wandering Flock merino single and mohair combo, and oh my god, the colors are so good. It looks amazing on. The one thing I should have done, and I realized this in trying it on, is I really should have gone down a needle size to do the stockinette in between the two colorwork sections. I even thought about it. I have no idea why I didn't do it, but I didn't. Oh, this looks so pretty. I just love it. And I also really loved this new bind off. So community of accountability, I gotta get these sleeves done, these sleeves done. I'm decreasing on that shawl. I'm not worried about it. I'll just get to it whenever. Maybe the next time I fly, or I'm gonna be doing a long drive down to my parents' place in Southern California with my kiddos for our kind of encampment, which I'm also really, really looking forward to. I can talk about what's next. I brought out some other yarn because I really, really want to do the Curator cardigan in this, which I have to like stop myself from casting on before I am done with that one. This I got from Flying Fibers at Rhinebeck Sheep and Wool, and they sold me on it because they literally said this is the last time this will be available. They're not going to use this flock anymore. So it's 70% alpaca and 30% blueface Leicester, and it's 3-ply, but look at it, so drapey and beautiful. And I want to just pair it with this darker gray tussock to get a really nice gray marl, which I think would be lovely. And then I have quite a bit of this hyacinth from Ritual Dyes, and I do really want to make a beginner's welcome sweater for myself in the OG yarn that I made the Beginner's Welcome hats in, which was the same combination, the Elder. Oh, I just love this. This Rambouillet is just, it's really one of my favorites. I truly adore it. And these are both technically the same color. There's, looks like a really big difference on the camera. It's less so of a difference in real life. But also you can see how much lighter the silk core is and how much more kind of purple it is, so it matches more closely with the, there you go, you can kind of see how a little closer it is. But, I mean, a good question, a kind of existential question, one might say, that I should be asking myself is how many blue sweaters someone can have. And I don't really know what the answer to that is. Like, how many blue sweaters can someone have? Yeah, so I guess that's where I'll leave you. This is my existential question of how many blue sweaters should one person actually own or knit for themselves. I would be delighted, frankly, to just try a different color of this same combination of yarns, but I have this on hand and I know I'll wear it, so that just might be what we do. Anyway, if you've lasted this long, thank you so very much, and I want to like apologize for all the personal life yapping, and I mean not really personal, like professional life yapping, but it's just been what's going on, and my knitting is like part of this greater context. All of our making is part of a greater context, whether that's, you know, with our families and our personal lives and what we're going through there, or whether it's with our other side of ourselves. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for the incredibly warm welcome back last time, and I'm sorry it's been so long again, but as you can see, I've been quite busy. I do have a ton I could talk about regarding the trip, but I also feel like I've yapped enough. I did do some incredible procurement. I did not get any yarn, but I got some very cool things, and I discovered a very cool shop that if anyone is ever in Marseille, they need to visit. We went multiple times. I think we went 3, maybe 4 times to the same store. And once you know what the store is, you will completely understand. So let me know in the comments if you'd like to hear more about my trip to southern France and to Venice, and I can give you some deets next time. This was much less scary than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be really tough to do all this talking and catch up and feel like I hadn't, felt like I hadn't really done enough, but that's not the case. And it feels really good to be here. So thank you. Thanks for putting yourselves out into the world one stitch at a time, and thank you for being here for me as I continue to do so as well. You guys are amazing, and thanks for watching. Happy knitting. Bye-bye.